Well, fam. Here we go. 50 months. 50 months. I said, fam, I knew it. You know what, man? I'm kind of cold with this thing, fam. I said, I said 5 to 6 years. I thought that's what he might get, but the judge went a little under that. The judge went a little under that. So that's where we at, y'all. Um, Diddy got his time. Got 4 years, 4 years and a couple of months. 50 months. Ooh-wee, man. For those of you who don't know how the judge came to his conclusion or want to know how the judge came to his conclusion, let me just fire this mail off right quick. For those of you who want to know how the judge came to his conclusion, the judge, this is a transcript from inside of the courtroom where the judge was speaking. Diddy spoke, and then the judge spoke. Well, I think it's important to understand some of the things that Diddy said so you can get a grip on how the judge came to his conclusion. But Diddy stood up at about 4:06, and he said this: one of the hardest things I've had to do is handle has been to having to be quiet and not express how sorry I am for my actions. I don't take that lightly. I would like to apologize to Cassie Ventura and her family. I apologize to Jane for bringing you into this mess. I would like to apologize to all the victims of domestic violence. I know that the disgusting video triggered people. I was sick from the drugs. I needed help, but I didn't get help. I knew better. My faith taught me better. I'm not this larger than life person. I'm just a human being. I'm trying my best. I lost my freedom and the opportunity to raise my children and be there for my mother. I lost all my businesses. I hate myself right now. I've been stripped down to nothing. I wanted to apologize to my 7 children. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. To my mother, I feel you taught me better. I let down my community. I wanted to show we could take care of our own problems. I got lost. I'm not this bad person. I'm sorry to my community. I let y'all down. People can change. I know I've changed. Sometimes you have to go through life experiences. These are not excuses. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I beg your honor for mercy, to be a father again, to be a son again, a leader in my community again, to get the help I need. I don't want to let God down. I have no one to blame but myself. I know I will never put my hands on another person again. I'm willing to comply with any conditions. My sharing my story is not a scheme to get less time. This story is tragic. If Your Honor gives me a chance to share my story, this has a positive impact. That you, the jury, thank you to the jury. Your Honor gave me the confidence in the jury to believe that I did not have to testify. They sacrificed 8 weeks. I thank them for the not guilty. I take full responsibility for my Mann Act convictions. They want you to make an example of me. I want you to think about making an example of what a person can do if they get another chance. Consider the beautiful children who spoke for me. No matter what anyone say, I know that I am truly sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. The judge took a 5-minute break and he came back unfazed. At 4:26, the judge spoke. Judge Subramanian said, At the outset of what I want you to understand, Mr. Combs, you are not being sentenced for acquitted conduct. But under 355.3, I must consider many things. Mr. Combs, you are a self-made artist who has inspired community of color. Community of color, that's it. We saw the video, the free game course in the MDC. The court hopes you continue to expand that. You are devoted to your family. That gave you a clue on what the judge was going to say. He said the free game course in the MDC, the court hopes you continue to expand it. You are devoted to your family. The court, of course, considers the collateral consequences. The court has to consider all of your history here. A history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. You abused these women. You used that abuse to get your way. Freak-offs and hotel nights. The evidence of the abuse is massive. I was sitting right here during the testimony. This was subjugation. That is the reality of what happened. These offenses imperably harmed two women. You plied them with drugs. Why did it happen so long? You had the power and the resources to keep it going. You were more than a John. A significant sentence is required to deter. You may say you're sorry and you won't do it again. After Ms. Ventura's civil lawsuit was filed, after the video was public and investigation was started, you had a brutal hotel night with Jane, punched her in the head. That right there, fam, lets you know that the judge already had made up his mind. So all of those impact statements that the family made and friends made and community activists made meant nothing. The judge had already made up his mind, like Dennis Sperling, attorney Dennis Sperling said that he had. The judge, he said, hey man, these judges already have their mind made up most of the time. And it looks like this judge had his mind made up that he was going to punish Diddy with some prison time, no matter what, because that testimony was made weeks ago about, Diddy beating on the other girl while he was going through it with the lawsuit with Cassie. The judge continued. Jane says he told her, take this pill, get out there and suck his DICK, F him, I don't care. The court is not convinced this would not happen again. The court has considered the programs. They are outweighed by the trial record in this case. Exploitation and violence against women must be met with real accountability to promote respect for the law. The court reaches a few conclusions. 135 months would be more than necessary. A sentence over 11 years is not reasonable. Even the probation department recommends a sentence less than half of that, but 14 months time served would not be sufficient. Here, the data shows a wide variety of sentencing. Weighing all of the relevant factors, the court determines that the sentences is 50 months of incarceration. Mr. Agnifilo, any recommendation where to serve the sentence? And then his attorney Agnifilo said, can we get back to you by Monday now that we know there is a sentence? The judge says yes. The court imposes a fine of $500,000, including a defray the cost of imprisonment. $500,000 for what? Including to defray the cost of imprisonment. There is no restitution, but there is forfeiture as reflected in the order. There is a $5,000 fine under statute, and special assessment of $200. I'm gonna have to ask Dennis about that, the cost of imprisonment thing. The judge continued, I want to speak to the strong women who came forward. Miss Ventura and Jane, you've been through trauma we can't imagine. Miss Ventura said it was forced sex and degradation. I want to say we heard you. You weren't just speaking to the jurors, but to other victims. You stood up to power. It's not easy. Violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay secret forever. I know you still bear trauma, but you've taught us you don't have to stay a victim. As Dr. King taught us, quoting Dr. King, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Mr. Combs, your mom writes that you have always been a good son. The same power that enabled you to hurt these women, you could use to help. And Diddy is sitting there with his hands folded the entire time. Adjourn. That's it. That's it. That's it. So the judge gave him the standard lecture that he give when they impose sentences. You know, they like to toss and turn. They like to make you think you're going to go this way. I think that's all an act. I got to get Dennis Sperling back on the line. I think that's part of the act, to make you think that they're doing something. You know, like they're going to go this way, but they go this way. They start off one way. And I said that earlier, didn't I? I said that sometimes the judges like to make you think they're going to rule one way, but then they rule another way. Oftentimes, you know, they may make you think that they're going to rule against you, or they're going to give you a bunch of time, or a guilty verdict, or not guilty. Then they go this way, and then they go this way, and then they end up somewhere in the middle. That happens a lot. So we got the verdict. Diddy got 50 months. That's 4 years, 2 months. I personally don't see it lasting too long. You there, D? Hello? Yeah, I do not see it. I do not see that sentence being completed. I see Donald Trump pardoning Diddy before the end of the year. Diddy ain't going home today, but Diddy going home for Christmas. Diddy going home for Christmas. Diddy going home. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, I do not believe Diddy is going to spend Christmas in jail. I think he'll be at home. One thing about this case is that Diddy knows now that he is not untouchable. He knows he's not untouchable. You know, one thing about it, fam, you can be loud if you got a bunch of money, but you can't be black and loud with a bunch of money. Now, Diddy had no choice but to put his face out there because, you know, his face is his brand. But when I say loud, I mean out there, you know, putting your hands on women and, you know, these other things I'm not going to even mention because they wasn't substantiated and they wasn't proven. So I'm not going to say a lot of these other things, but this has been going on for a long, long time where people been accusing Diddy of doing certain things, you know. And so I do believe that some of those people were telling the truth. But overall, I believe that a lot of these people were lying, and a lot of these people, especially the ones filing lawsuits, was just trying to file these lawsuits to hit a lick. I do not believe that all these grown-ass people allowed another human being to make them bow down and do all of this stuff just because they had some money. That's why, and I understand that money talk for a lot of people, and that power go to a lot of people's head and they get scared. But for Diddy but to be a man and allow another man to tell you to get on your knees and unzip his pants and you do it? Oh, man. Now, you wanted to do that. That's right. I said, I know y'all don't like it when y'all hear people say you wanted to what, but you got to have some accountability, man. There has to be some accountability for your actions when you're a grown person. You're a whole grown human being. You mean to tell me you're responsible for everything else that you do, but you're not responsible for sexual acts? Like everything else, you're responsible. If you go out there and you hit somebody while you're driving, you're responsible. You got to take accountability for that. Society makes you accountable for that. If you go out there and if you want to smoke, you can smoke because you're grown. If you want to drink, you drink because you're grown. If you don't know how to budget your money right, if you mismanage your money, that's your fault, right? You're grown. People gonna hold you accountable for that. You'll be held accountable for that. You miss your mortgage payment, you miss your car note, you're gonna be held accountable for that. These are all grown folks stuff. If you want to get on a plane, if you got the money, you want to get on a plane and go to the Maldives, the Maldives, you want to go to Turks and Caicos, you can do that because you're grown and you're free. You can do that. But why, when it comes to sex, all of a sudden you ain't got no damn power? You ain't got no power. You ain't got no accountability whatsoever. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm talking like, let's talk straight. Let's go straight to it. And I'm not riding for Diddy. Understand that. Understand, I am not riding for Diddy. This is bigger than Diddy. Because if they can hit Diddy on some trumped up charges, they can definitely hit you and me on some trumped up charges. This fix was in from the time that his properties were raided. The fix was in. They was coming for Diddy, and they was determined to get him. That judge was never with Diddy ever. He never, all of the significant stuff, he never sided with Diddy. That judge was unfazed the entire time. He was put there. He was put in place to put Diddy in his place. That judge was hired, put on that case specifically to hold it down and stay stiff. And no matter what that defense brought forth, it did not matter. Diddy was going to do some time. If they was able to get up out of there with a conviction, oh, he's going to do some time. That's what that was about. The judge had his mind made up all the way. Mind already made up. But as I said, Diddy may not go home today. Well, ain't no made to it. But he ain't going home today. But he going home before Christmas. Diddy gonna be out of prison before Christmas. Because Donald Trump is going to pardon him. Ain't no doubt about it. Who gonna stop him? Who gonna check him? Trump doing whatever the hell he want to do right now, and ain't nobody stopping, ain't nobody doing nothing. You know, when he pardoned Diddy, you know what everybody gonna say? Even the MAGAs, they're gonna just be like, they ain't gonna even talk about it. They just gonna dismiss and just let it go. They ain't gonna say nothing because they're trained. Whatever master say, that's what goes. Oh, he definitely gonna pardon him. He definitely would be pardoned. If Trump can pardon Diddy and get Diddy in his corner, Diddy would be an asset to him. Oh, he definitely gonna have to, but he gonna have to turn his back on his people. He gonna have to sell out. But if Trump pardon him, he gonna feel some type of debt, that he owe him some type of debt. Mr. Red says Trump may pardon him, but it won't be until the last days of his term. Man, get out of here. Trump ain't got to wait till the end of his term. Trump doing what he want to do right now. Remember, he came in day one signing executive orders and pardoning people. He don't give a damn about what you think. He ain't trying to, look good or nothing. He don't care about none of that. He don't care about decorum. He don't care nothing about protocol. Man, that man doing whatever the hell he want to do, and ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody doing nothing about it. None of these people with the power to do something is willing to risk their careers. Doing what he want to do. Diddy going home. Definitely before the holidays. Definitely before Christmas. I wouldn't be surprised. Trump's so bold these days. I wouldn't be surprised if he pardoned Diddy next week, by the end of next week. I would not be surprised. Reginald Daffin says, why do I think Trump is going to help Diddy? Because Trump said he would. They're old buddies, even though they fell out. Diddy still got a lot to offer. He still got a lot of money. He still got a lot of influence. And Trump could use somebody like Diddy. What's up, China? China Carter. Theodore Nunn. Theodore second to none. What up? Grayson. And here's the thing too, fam. I'm not buying what the judge said about protecting women. I'm not buying that. This is America. We do not protect women in America. Women feel more unsafe today than they've ever felt in their lives. We do not. That's game. They only say these type of things. It's almost like when they talking about the elderly or veterans. They'll go like, this happened to our veterans. We love our veterans, and let's salute. You know how they bring them out during the games and stuff, like baseball games and football games especially. They love to salute the veterans. Let's place a homage to from the 55th infantry. What they call them? What they call those? When you're part of a certain group, what do they call that, fam? Y'all, where are my soldiers at? They call, is it called an inf? What is it called? An infantry? What is it called? Let's see. I'm gonna get it in a minute. But anyway, they just be saluting infantry. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, infantry. So I'm the such infantry. They fought in World War I and World War II and the Civil War. Old man just barely can be walking up there like, let's give him a salute. He'd be having his USA hat on, got the flag. They do the little ritual, and then as soon as they say cut, and they walk through the tunnel, get your ass on out here, man. You get all the goddamn way. Get out the way. They don't care nothing about no veterans, man. They don't care nothing about these veterans out here. They care nothing about the veterans. Nothing. Yeah, man. These people don't care about no veterans. They don't care about these kids. They don't care about women. None of that. It's a dog eat dog society in America. It's dog eat dog. Some of the very same people who claim that they're protecting women be beating on women themselves, especially these police officers. They are notorious for putting hands on women. To my cop homeboys out there, the good ones, the few good ones that I know, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the other ones. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about your colleagues. Yeah, man. Think about it, fam. This cop is an abuser. He beats up his woman. She called the cops. Who gonna show up? His buddies. Yeah, man. Then they turn around and leave. Do you know how much more afraid that would make a woman when she can call the police and they come out and she got a busted eye, a broken jaw, and the police show up and then just turn around, tell her it's gonna be all right, and just go back. Even if she go to the hospital, a lot of times the people that work at those hospitals, they work with police, and the police will come in there and be like, hey, when they suspect something, they're supposed to call the police. But what if they suspect something and call the police show up, his buddies show up and say, hey, I think she fell. Yeah, we investigated. We didn't find any. But she said her husband did it. No, I don't think he did that. He didn't do it. Yeah, man, get out of here. Get out of here. I don't believe the judge. I think the judge had his mind made up from day one. He had his mind made up from Jump Street. He had his mind made up, and he stuck it to. He had his mind made up, and he stuck it to Diddy, like he had planned to stick it to Diddy when he first found out that he was going to be on the case. I'm gonna tell you how much I don't trust this whole thing. The judge probably was on the case before the case was even brought up. They probably sat back and like, look, there's gonna be a raid on here and here. After the raids, we're gonna get when we file the charges, you're gonna be the judge. You think you can handle it? You're not gonna get rattled? Yeah, I can do it. You sure? Yeah, I'm pretty much sure I can get it, Yeah. Judge probably sitting up there looking at all them black excellent posts that Diddy was posting. Black excellent, looking at them posts like this. Huh. Got something for him. Yeah, I got something for him. Yeah, fam. I think Cassie should be in jail too, though. Cassie is not innocent. I think she should be in jail. She was a victim of DV. She absolutely was a victim of that. And Diddy should have, if they do time for anything, he should do some time for that. If he's going to do some time for anything, he should have done time for that. But putting that man in jail for 4 years for consensual sex, nah, fam. And how many, they just totally ignored, the judge just totally ignored all the times Cassie made them phone calls when Diddy wasn't around, when Cassie made the phone calls and was like, yo, what you doing? Oh, you busy? Oh, we was trying to have a freak off. Oh, okay. You busy? Okay. Well, can you get somebody else? I don't think Diddy was right there. He said, she said it wasn't a pause. He said she just immediately said, well, can you get somebody else? Just like that. And what about when Cassie called that dude who allegedly had some video of her freaking off, being freaky, and she threatened to kill him? What about that? She ain't innocent like everybody trying to make it seem like she is. She's not that innocent. We heard her threaten the life of somebody. Now, anybody else that we heard him, especially if it was Diddy, that's all we would be talking about right now, is how Diddy threatened the life of this person. Oh yeah, I definitely believe he killed Pop because he threatened the life of that dude. You know what I'm saying? That dude that had the video, he said he'll kill him and chop him up. Well, Cassie said she would kill him and chop him up, and they swept that right on under the rug. Ain't nobody talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. Yeah, Cassie ain't that little sweet thing that you think she is. Nah, you can't be that sweet letting that many dudes run up in you anyway. You can't be that sweet. Yeah, you got to have a certain edge about you. If you doing that, if you getting down like that, I don't care what you look like on the outside. It's all about what's going on in here. Manisha Harris. Is that Martin Walker? What up? Simone. Trio One says Diddy won the Stupid Games prize. All right, all right. Oro, what up? Roderick Allen. See, now Diddy got to kiss the ring. Diddy was, I'm sure, was trying to hoping that he could deal with that case all on his own and not have to owe anybody anything because he paid his lawyers, and he was hoping that he'd not have to owe anybody something. But now he's gonna owe Trump. If Trump is going to pardon him, and he's going to owe Trump. For 10 years, at least 10 years, Cassie said they had a freak off almost every week. Almost every week they had a freak off. So if you just round it off and say 50 months, 50 weeks, 50 dudes a year, that's 500. And what about on the occasions when there was multiple dudes? I'm gonna tell you something, fam. I think that's part of the reason why Diddy whooped on Cassie. I think he had Cassie for a, she was nice. She was nice to look at. So she was good, a good arm piece. She was good. She was good arm candy, right? When he go out and do his thing and all that stuff, she make him look good. She's a good arm candy. Nice little trophy piece. But because she did all that other freaky stuff with all them other dudes, he never respected her. He didn't respect her. See? And Fellas, I'm finna go on. I gotta say this, fellas, because some of y'all ain't gonna like this, because some of y'all are just now venturing into you. Some of you are just getting into your you're coming into your freaky uh, your freaky region in life. You know, you're just starting to be freaky, and you're trying everything. And that's some of the stuff you want to do. You want to flip your girl and all this. You want to do all of that stuff, right? But ladies, let me tell you something. Bernie Mac used to shake his head like that. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Any man who flip you is never going to respect you. If you let your man run through you with another man, if you let another man run through you while you in a relationship with your man, y'all call it polyamorous all you want to, and you can be under the delusion that he love you and respect you, but he don't. He don't. If you do a threesome with your man, he is not going to respect you, even if it's with another woman. Because now he knows you shared your body. He see you sharing your body with somebody else while you with him. And he also, now he's thinking because you will do it with a chick, now he's not really sure what you're doing when you're hanging out with your girls or y'all going that girls trip. He don't know. Now he's thinking, like, I wonder, just because he let you go and just because he was cool with you going don't mean that he really appreciated that. But just remember that. And also, fellas, she ain't gonna never respect you and trust you because she knows now that you got an appetite for more. You need more. So she ain't gonna trust that you wouldn't do this with another woman, right? If you do it with another woman, even with another one, she ain't gonna trust it. She gonna always have that little suspicion in the back of her mind, even if it was her idea. You do it, you do it with another dude. Now she thinking your homeboy, especially if everybody got a homeboy, at least one homeboy that's a player. So especially if you hanging out with your homeboy, she ain't gonna never trust you hanging out with him. Cause she gonna think y'all doing that with some other girl. Or maybe his, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, fam. Yeah. Joining us right now, attorney Dennis. You're back. He's back like he
Man,
never
what's
left.
up, Willie?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Like
Can you hear me?
Looks like you're frozen there. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you fine. Let me check it. Hold on a minute.
Where are you? Where are you?
Give me 1 second. Oh, that should work.
I can't hear you. Can't hear you. We're trying to get attorney Dennis Spalding in here. Maybe go out, come back.
I'm going out and coming back. Let me see.
Can't hear you. Looks like something's going on your end. Maybe log out and log back in. Trying to get Dennis Spalding back in here, fam. Come on, come on, come on. Where y'all at? I'm gonna check out this comment. Let's see what y'all saying. Stephen Wren, what's up, Steve? Frank Sinatra, say Trump 2028. All righty then, Trump, man, Trump, Trump. I got everything except no teeth. I got to have no teeth. Trump, Trump. Waiting on attorney Dennis Spalding to come back in, Dennis Sperling to come back in. Okay, let's try it again.
Well, all right, I'm back, brother.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Is that you still can? God damn. Hello, Mike. What about now?
Yo, yo.
Yeah, I can
Hear
hear
you?
you fine. Okay, let me see.
At McAfee. So if you're just not joining, fam, Diddy got 50 months in prison. The judge thought that 11 years was too much. He thought that time served was too little. So it looks like he tried to get somewhere in the middle. He went just south of the middle of the 11 and a half years that the prosecution was asking for. So he got his time and he know what he's up against now. Waiting on attorney Dennis Sperling to come back through. Got to get Dennis in here because Dennis is offers some very colorful commentary while also giving us the facts, straight shot, no chase. So love to have him on the show because he always bring the heat. His time that he's not getting time served, but he will be credited for the time he has served. So they don't get to go home today, but make no mistake, Diddy is going home before the end of the year. I'll put that on everything. But he's still got 60 civil lawsuits to deal with. That's a lot of damn lawsuits. 60.
All right, brother. Can you hear me now?
Yo.
All right. What's up, Willie D?
I can't hear you. Hold on. Let's try to move something around. Let me see if
I can hear you still. Oh, let me fix this. Crazy. I can hear you fine.
I see your mic moving, but I cannot hear you. Where is it? Let's see. Let me see what's going on with the mic. Yo. Yeah. I see your mic. I hear your mic. I see it. I see the dots on your mic. I can hear you
fine. Okay. Yeah, I can see you fine, and it might be something to do.
That's got to be on your end, Dennis. It's got to be on your end.
No, they say they can hear me perfectly.
I can't hear you.
We can hear him.
Can you hear me?
See, Willie
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Hey, let me tell you what. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think.
Can you hear me?
50 months. I can hear you fine. Look,
can hear me?
Say this. P. Diddy got.
I can't hear you.
He can't hear me. Okay. Now he muted me. That's all right. But I think Willie, the audience can hear both. So Willie must have his but anyway, let me say this so we can. I want you guys to understand. I know what he wants to talk about. Basically, when you're looking at a situation where this man, yes, I can hear you. Yes, this man was looking at 50 months in jail. I mean, he's called him up. Let me call him up. He was looking at what was tantamount to a life sentence. Hey, Willie, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, you can hear me fine, right?
And the audience can hear me too. And basically, what I'm saying is that, what I'm saying is that he got off easy. And
the audience could hear you?
Yes, the audience can hear me. So is your computer not coming through?
What?
Yes, sir. But look, let me tell them what I'm gonna say, because I got to get back to doing what P. Diddy's lawyers are doing right now. That's enjoying a win. The bottom line is Sean P. Diddy Combs' lawyers did a great job. That man was looking at what was tantamount to a life sentence in prison. And the fact that he's only going to go to jail for 4 years and 2 months, what that means to me is that he needs to sit down, do his time. He's going to get credit for a year time served, so he'll be home. He has a date. And there's a lot of guys in prison. I know some right now. And many of you all have people that you know in prison. 4 years with a credit, a year for time served, that's a good day for him, in my opinion. Willie, you want me to come back in? If you want me to try to come back in and come back in? Because I can hear you fine.
I hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Well, okay, good, brother. What I was just saying is that this man has a date. He's got 4 years and 2 months. And his lawyers, that is an overwhelming win for him. You read what the judge said. You hurt these people. You see what I mean? You hurt these people. And I'm telling you, and we talked about this earlier, if the man hadn't come in and say, I'm sorry, I hate myself, I really messed up, he might have ended up with 8 years or 11 years. But because he came in and stood up and said, I'm sorry, I apologize for what I did, I'm a horrible person, XYZ, ... that probably, to me, if I'm sitting up the judge, okay, he's remorseful. All right, so I can justify giving him a lesser end than what I could. Because I sent you a text message. I thought he was going to get between 6 to 7 because he was credited. He was a level 1 offender because, he doesn't have a prior record. So that indicates anywhere from 6 to 7 years. You see? So he was supposed to get anywhere from 72 to 84 months, but all he's doing is 4 years and 2 months, man. He can do that stand on his head, man. And look, all of you all who think, and look, I know you was like, they're gonna let my boy free and everything. Bro, he earned that, man. He earned it. He earned it.
Yeah.
He out there doing too much. You paying for prostitutes. You got all these shenanigans going on. Eventually, the law is going to catch up with you. So as far as I'm concerned, the lawyers did a great job. The judge was fair about it. In a situation where in a situation where the case is brought and the jury finds you guilty, it could have went way worse. The man could have ended up in jail for 20 years and have those other charges stuck, right? This man, he wouldn't have seen the light of day. He's gonna be able to see his grandchildren. He's gonna go to jail for another 3 years, and I believe, and if I looked at it correct, he's getting credit for time served. So man, that's a win, man. That's a win.
If he did the time and his buddy Trump didn't pardon him, he'd do about 3 years and he's gone home. Because with federal sentencing, how much of that 50 months will he realistically have to do?
Well, in federal court, they have, the lay term is good time. They have good time served. So he might get some credit for this and some credit for that if he enters the right program. It's my understanding that he was tutoring some of the other inmates. So, they're going to look at that and, say, okay, he's not a problem, And at the end of the day, man, our prison system is overwhelmed at this point. And if you talk to any of the local district attorneys and whatnot, if you talk to some of the sheriffs, a lot of the time the conversations between the sheriffs and the DA's office is, you got to please some of these people out because our prison's overcrowded. We don't have room for these people. Now, of course, they will make room for them. But, when we get when you have non-violent offenders, weed, warrants, it's better just to tax the hell out of them and send them on their way. But of course, they couldn't do that with Sean Combs because he's a billionaire and they need to make an example out of him. But as far as I'm concerned, man, this is on the better side of scenarios. Of course, his people and his team would want him to get an acquittal all the way out. But, he was shipping prostitutes from state to state, and that is illegal.
What's the $500,000 for? The judge imposed a fine of $500,000. What is that for? What does that go for? And what does including the cost of imprisonment mean?
Well, it costs money to put people in jail. And let me start with this. The taxpayers had to pay the bill for this prosecution. The money does not come out of nowhere, okay? And if they spend about $500,000 for the attorneys and the experts and the investigators and the transportation to bring this case, and they want to bring that back to the taxpayers, man. Oftentimes what happens is you get the restitution if you're a victim. Like here in the state of Texas, we have a victim crimes fund. We'll call it victim crime fund. And so if people are hurt by somebody, you can get a certain amount of money for your medical bills and some property damage. In some cases, it's $50,000. In some cases, when it's very egregious, it's up to $75,000 that you can get back if you're hurt by somebody. In this particular case, we're not necessarily talking about restitution. We're talking about court costs and court fees. It costs money to pay judges and clerks and court transcripts and bailiffs and whatnot. So why should the taxpayers have to bear that? Again, I'm someone who thinks that this case should have never been brought. That's my opinion. But now that this is all said and done, we're just dealing with the reality of what he got off easy, in my opinion. It wasn't a complete acquittal, but he got off easy. And this is a message for him to slow down. But, I'm kind of rambling around. But yeah, $500,000 is going to go to the federal government. They'll put it in some coffer somewhere, and they'll use that money to prosecute other people who've been found guilty. Or they might put some in the victims fund for victims of SA. You never know. But yeah, that was and that's surprising because usually they charge up to $250. But I guess what they did was, since he was convicted of two particular crimes, he topped off $250 for each one of the convictions for that particular Mann Act. That's what I think happened.
Why no restitution?
Who's he gonna pay it to? When they do restitution, the question. See, this is a question that goes on between the prosecutors and the victim. do you have any injuries, medical bills, XYZ? Have you been compensated in any way for it? Clearly, Cassidy is already, how much did she get? How many millions of dollars did she get already?
20 million from him.
Yes, so she does not need additional restitution from Sean Combs when she took it upon herself to receive a civil settlement. So that would kind of be, I mean, I guess the judge could have done it, but that's not usually how it works. If you get a recovery in a civil settlement, then they typically won't give you a recovery in restitution. I'm dealing with a case like that right now. I got a guy up out of we'll say in the Austin, Texas area. He was hit by a hit and run driver. Dude fled. We tracked him down, and my guy contacted the local sheriff's department. They tracked him down. They arrested him for fleeing the scene of an accident. And now the question is, are we going to get compensated in this lawsuit for this car accident, or are you going to pay us because the criminal judge ordered you to pay it? So either restitution on one side or a civil judgment related to a tort action, which is basically a fancy word for car accidents and slip and falls. That's the cause of action you would bring it under. How are we going to get paid? One way you're going to get paid one way or the other. So that's how restitution happens. And you shouldn't get both. That's not fair, no matter how guilty a defendant is. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it, brother.
Well, let's say, I know you got to go, but I just want to hit you with a couple more questions real quick.
Yeah,
let's just say you are the attorney for Sean Diddy Combs. What's your step? Is there a clear path for an appeal? A reasonable.
Bro, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. He can take an appeal and get resentenced and mess around. And I wanted to say F around. He can F around and end up with 20 years. You see what I'm saying? You can take that appeal and say this judgment or this ruling was unfair and go for resentencing and take your ass down there and get some more time tacked on top of it. Keep playing. You need to sit down, do your time, and go home in 3 years. That's what Sean Combs. I've seen judges, okay? I have seen judges say, okay, you wanted 4 years was too much, huh? Well, let me go ahead and give you 12 years. Well, let me go ahead and give you 20 years. That's happened. This is how the game goes. You can mess around and end up in a situation where what are they going to appeal? You going to appeal the decision? I mean, you already got a date. You got credit for time served. You really only going to do 3 goddamn years. You going to appeal that? By the time the damn appeal gets finished, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be out of jail. By the time it goes through what's that, New York? So was that the Second Circuit? By the time it goes through, I think it's the Second Circuit. I'm not sure. I know some people with Google out there to correct me, but I know up north, it's either the First Circuit or it's probably the Second Circuit. I'm not sure. But it's going to go through the Second Circuit. That's going to take 1.5 years or 2 years. I
think New York is the First Circuit. Hold on, let me see.
It might be. It's federal court. But either way, you're going to ask for less time than the 4 years. I mean, it'd be different if he's just trying to get it off his record, okay? But no, man, he need to sit down, man. He need to sit down, learn his lesson, and be thankful he got a date. And that's my opinion. And I know, people are like, no, he'll be out before 2030. You see what I mean? He'll be out in 2028.
He'll be out before 2026 because Trump is going to pardon him. I'm telling you, man.
What's the incentive? Okay, here we. You think you go? I don't know.
The incentive is more eyeballs, more power, more consolidation of power. That's Trump's whole thing. Like, look at how powerful I am. The blacks want this guy to be free. He's one of the black examples of excellence. Watch me. I'll just show you that I'm not a racist. Let me pluck this one and set him free. I'm telling you, he's going to pardon Diddy before the end of the year.
All right, Willie D. If you say so, man, I don't see the political advantage in pardoning a convicted SA when you have all these liberal type folk on these different what do they call it? Cable news outlets already excoriating Trump for being a perpetrator of SA. I don't see the win in that for him.
Trump don't give a damn about what they think, fam. He don't care about what they think. He's still doing what he want to do. You know, let me ask you this. How does the sentencing affect any ongoing upcoming civil suits against Diddy?
I mean, it becomes what is called negligence per se. That means it's like, okay, so let me give you an example. You hit somebody while you, and I kind of put it down with a cow skinny because I want folk to understand. Let's say you have a car accident, or let's say someone has a car accident and they hit your car, and the reason they hit your car is because they were speeding. And then you file a civil lawsuit against them because they were speeding and they hit your car, and you're trying to recover for your damages. Your car is messed up. You might have had some injuries or whatnot, but you know your car has got $10,000 in damage, and they say we're not paying you nothing. You jumped in front of me and cut me off in the lane, and then you go to this person, or then this person who is also being prosecuted by the state for speeding because the cop who saw the accident happen, or he just so happened to be there at the right time and saw you speeding, and they get convicted of speeding. Okay, so now there's a criminal conviction associated with this incident. That becomes negligence per se. That means like negligence as a matter of fact, or negligence as a rule. You are at fault because there's a criminal case. Now that doesn't mean you finished with the work that a lawyer has to do, but you already been convicted of it. So if these particular victims who say they suffered from emotional distress associated with being brutalized and so on and so forth because of P. Diddy, he's really not too much for him to escape from if he's already been convicted of it in criminal court and he's going to jail. It is what it is. It's a very easy thing to do at that point. I mean, not that it's not. It's going to be the burden of proof is a lot easier in civil cases than it is in criminal cases. In civil cases, by preponderance of evidence. In criminal cases, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's easy to put you. It's harder to put you in jail than to take your money. You see what I mean? So that's the situation they're looking at. Yeah, man, but it'll make it a lot less difficult. You still would have to file suit. So we'll see what happens, I guess. But Diddy need to sit down somewhere and take that charge and go about his business, mess around and appeal it, get it overturned, and his behind of being there for 2 years. You understand me?
Yeah. Have you ever known anybody else to get this type of time for transportation of prostitution?
No. And if you look at what the prosecutor specifically said, there's not a lot of evidence out here, and the only one she had was a guy that got 7 years. But in that particular case, drugs were involved, and it was a trafficking style case. So this is a case of first impression. First time I've known. Well, we would have learned about this a long time ago. This is a flued out case. This is you. All you dudes out there, I want you to come close. Look here. You better leave them IG models alone. You better stop trying to fly them girls out. You're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail. So you're gonna go straight to jail. Go ahead.
Because now all one of them have to do now, because they're watching this case like we're watching it. They're seeing this influx of lawsuits coming in. They see all of this stuff that's going on. So now one of these chicks who got bad intentions might decide that, he flew me out, and I ain't really get what I wanted out of the deal. And now I'm over here, I'm broke. He's still out there balling and everything. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say he flew me out and for the intentions of that, and then he did woo woo woo. And next thing you know, you in court, you gotta break somebody off $20 million, and you also are facing criminal time. You gotta face a criminal case. So that's man. Y'all better be careful out there, fellas. Y'all flying people out too. Yeah, I know y'all.
Let me look up the statute of limitations on the Mann Act. Hold on, let me look this up for you. So I think it's 5 years. Let me see here. Hold on 1 minute. We're gonna find out.
And keep in mind, when they talk about the Mann Act, it's not exclusive to you flying somebody to you or flying somebody somewhere and you meeting them. You can fly with them. You can get in a car and cross state lines with them. You can get in a plane and go from state to state with them and be accused of the Mann Act.
Yeah, let me tell y'all how what my mind is. So all of you folk out there, if in the past 5 years you've been a victim of interstate transport, even if you was paid, go ahead and give me a call right now. Go ahead and call my office right now. You're a victim. Some rich person flew you out and took advantage of you. You go ahead and give me a call right now. You can call, because there's a 5-year statute of limitations. Let me just play the devil's advocate real quick. Let's say it's the height of the pandemic, and you meet a chick on Instagram, and she hot, and you slide in the DM and you say, "Hey, baby, yeah, you come on down. How much you charge?" You're like, "Yeah, $500 plus a plane ticket. I'm coming through." You know what I'm saying? And so you buy the plane ticket with her name on it, using your credit card evidence. She comes down there, y'all hang out, hotel, whatever, evidence. She comes to your house, hotel, evidence, receipts, evidence. You might take and take her to the what's it called? Let's say buy something at the mall, because you promised not only when she come down there, you're gonna give her some money, but you're also gonna take her shopping at let's pick a place. What's that place down there in Miami? What's that Bell Harbor, Ball Harbor, or here at the Galleria somewhere? Well, that's a violation of the Mann Act, because it looks like on his face you paid a prostitute both in goods and in goods and money for what? For her sexual services. That's basically what P. Diddy did. So all she has to do is say, well, when she came down here, not only that you SA'd her and she suffered emotional distress for that. So that's the cause of action. But the fact pattern behind it is one that coalesces with the requirements of the Mann Act. So you have a problem. And there's a 5-year statute of limitations on this. So this goes back 5 years. This is a problem, man. And we always talk about policing people's bedroom activities, right? You hear that coming a lot from the left-leaning type folk who believe in the LGBT, so on and so forth. Well, this is the policing the hell out of people's private interactions, because now not only, so if you meet a chick and you just give her a few dollars, or you take her to the mall and buy something, that also can be considered, you brought her down to Miami or New York to hang out with you and you took her shopping. Well, technically that's a violation of the Mann Act.
Yeah, even if she don't identify, you ain't identify her as a prostitute. If she acting like a prostitute,
man, she doesn't even have to ever have prostituted ever before. But the fact that you flew her out and took her shopping, which basically ladies, if you go, if a man, brothers, men, everybody, if you fly a chick out, you can't give her any money, you can't take her shopping, you can't give her a chicken sandwich. Anything you give her,
sex either.
Yeah, but you can have sex, but she can't get anything in exchange for it, not anything of value.
No money. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right? Woo.
Yeah. Well, would buying her a plane ticket count as something of value?
Oh yes. Remember New York? Man, look, the mayor of New York, he allegedly accepted some free tickets to Turkey, and they were trying to put him in prison for that. Remember that? The mayor of New York, that was what that whole thing was about.
Yeah. Some
plane tickets. So yeah, plane tickets of going somewhere nice or new or going somewhere new is also considered something of value. I mean, bro, it's a bad precedent, and that's why nobody else has brought this stupid case. Again, it should have never been brought. It sets a bad precedent. But at the end of the day, what do we do about it? We let it stay on the books. Nobody in here petitioned, You know, they're congressmen to repeal the Mann Act. It's been on the books for 100 years. This is what the American public wanted. So why are we crying now? And that's why when we first started talking, I'm sitting in my backyard chilling, because that's exactly what P. Diddy's lawyers should be doing, because they did a great job under these horrible circumstances. Again, I'm gonna say this again. Obviously, to me, it's obvious that racism was involved in this. Obvious to me. These charges should have never been brought. It's been a big waste of time. You put somebody, how long was the trial? 3-4 weeks, 2 years of work for a damn prostitution charge? You want to catch some Johns, go down here to one of these strips somewhere. We don't need to spend $500,000. We got real killers and drug addicts. I mean, look at the streets of Philadelphia. Go put the people in prison who've been selling drugs to all our people around here. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what we spending up for this show trial. So, man, I just think it's a big waste of time and resources. We could have done better. But, you know, we're here for the entertainment of it, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you, man, for your time, man.
Yeah.
It definitely was not wasted. We appreciate you every time you come on the show, man, and offer your insight and expertise. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, man.
And
I just want you all to know that, like, when I'm talking to Willie D and I'm here on YouTube, I'm a lot looser, and I don't just talk about the law. I kind of put it in context. Now, if you see me in court, I'm pretty stiff, just like all the rest of the lawyers. If you catch me on the phone and we talking about a case, I'm going to be just like all the other lawyers. But if you want the insight, it's like when you have a brother or cousin that's a doctor, they'll tell you the truth, okay? Yeah. Or a lawyer, they'll tell you the truth. That's the conversations I give to Willie D, because I think it's necessary for the public to really see the nasty inner workings of the legal system and what really goes on behind the scenes. Because when you really know that this is not some pristine machine that works perfectly all the time, it is not subject to human error or human feelings, then you'll say, well, maybe we do need to make some changes, you know, and I think so. But other than that, man, you know, I appreciate you, bro. Y'all come check me out on my channel. It's the Dennis Sperling Podcast. And I'll be back anytime you want to talk about it, brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, guys. I'm sure this ain't the end of this. This is a developing story.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be more people that's going to go down because of this now, man. You're going to have women popping up out the blue saying, oh, we can get some money like that?
Yeah.
And dudes, too. You opening the door. But anyway, brother, I got to take my wife to dinner. God bless you, man. I appreciate you. Y'all be blessed.
Family. So if you're just not joining, Diddy has been given 50 months in prison by the judge, and I'll read the judge's statement that justifies, where he justifies and how he justified coming to that conclusion. This is Judge Subramanian speaking today about right before he handed down Diddy a 50-month sentence. At the outset, I want you to understand, Mr. Combs, you are not being sentenced for acquitted conduct, but under 3553, I must consider many things. Mr. Combs, you are a self-made artist who has inspired community of color. We saw the video, the free game course in the MDC. The court hopes you continue to expand it. You are devoted to your family. The court, of course, considers the collateral consequences. The court has to consider all of your history here. A history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. You abused these women. You used that power to get your way, freak-offs and hotel nights. The evidence of the abuse is massive. I was sitting right here during the testimony. This was subjugation. That is the reality of what happened. These offenses irreparably harmed 2 women. You plied them with drugs. Why did it happen so long? You had the power and resources to keep it going. You were more than a John. A significant sentence is required to deter you. You say you're so sorry and you won't do it again. After Ms. Ventura's civil lawsuit was filed, after the video was public, and the investigation started, you had a brutal hotel fight with Jane, punched her in the head. Jane says he told her, take this pill. Get out there and suck my F him. I don't care. The court is not convinced this would not happen again. The court has considered the programs. They are outweighed by the trial record in this case. Exploitation and violence against women must be met with real accountability to promote respect for the law. The court reaches a few conclusions. 135 months would be more than necessary. A sentence of 11 years is not reasonable. Even the probation department recommends a sentence less than half of that. But 14 months time served would not be sufficient. Here, the data shows a wide variety of sentences. Weighing all of the relevant factors, the court determines that the sentences is 50 months of incarceration. Mr. Agnifilo, any recommendation where to serve the sentence? Diddy's lawyer replied, can we get back to you on Monday now that we know there is a sentence? Judge says yes. The court imposes a $500,000 fine, including to defray the cost of imprisonment. There is no restitution, but there is forfeiture as reflected in the order. There is a $5,000 fine under the statute and special assessment of $200. The judge went on to say, I want to speak to the strong women who came forward, Ms. Ventura and Jane. You've been through trauma we can't imagine. Ms. Ventura said it was forced sex and degradation. I want to say we heard you. You weren't just speaking to the jurors, but to other victims. You stood up to power. It's not easy. Violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay secret forever. I know you still bear trauma, but you've taught us you don't have to stay a victim. As Dr. King taught us, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Mr. Combs, your mom writes that you have always been a good son. The same power that enabled you to hurt these women, you could use to help. And Diddy sat there with his arms, with his hands folded. And the judge adjourned, and that was case closed for Diddy and his transportation of prostitution conviction. This case is not over. I can guarantee you that. This case is not over. I do believe that Diddy is going to be pardoned by Trump before the end of the year. A lot of times they like to make these pardons around holidays and stuff, you know, when there's particular commemorations. But Trump, the way he's been flexing lately, I wouldn't be surprised if he pardoned him by the end of the month. I'm sure his lawyers, Diddy's lawyers, already have pardon papers written up. I would not be surprised if he was pardoned by the end of next week. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I got about a couple of more videos coming up before the end of the day. No more talk.